she's able to rent that out and live in the backyard totally for free. For free, shall I say. Because she was able to use equity in her primary home to build the house in the backyard, take that money, reinvest it into the tiny home in the backyard. Took the tiny home, even rent that out when she's not there, as well as for Airbnb. So she's making money all the way around without having to dip into any additional sources, and she can practically live for free. While I was waiting on this video, which I don't know. So this is the Airbnb, and this is the tiny house in the back. We can do it. Like, I believe we are fully capable for our families. And if you do have the kid is going off to college, they're growing in age, or you might be growing in age, there is nothing wrong with trying these unconventional methods that you can tap into without having to purchase a whole new property or investment property that costs, 20, 30, $50,000 with down payment to me, with the down payment necessary. So that is where we was getting caught up at in our presentation.
Awesome. Thank you for catching us up. And now let's move forward past that into, how that primary home being our first investment, how that plays out. Once we learned about this house hacking skill, what do you have next for us?
So after house hacking, it is buying a multifamily. And it is not as hard as most people think it is. I'm not going to say there's thousands on the market. I'm not going to say that. But I am saying that you can buy and qualify for the first house and use the potential rent from the second property as income as well for you to be able to buy a multifamily. So instead of having to say, okay, I'm going to save my money, get 20 to 25% to put down when you want to become an investor, you can just buy it with your 3.5% down, let's say an FHA loan, and be able to use the potential rental income to be able to qualify for that home. And there are a variety in the dorm market that is sell about 64 of them. So it may not be the prettiest house, it may not be the best house, but let's say you bought this house. It's only $200,000. You put your 3.5% down. Let's say 200. Let's say just $7,500. Let's say to put down. You might have some closing costs. Okay, the house may need a little repair. You can do a 2 or 3K loan on this, and you live on one side and rent out the other. It's not a lifetime commitment, but that's a whole lot easier to qualify for if you just need a little bit of space for you to live, and you live there for 1 year, rent it out, and keep going. So that's just one of the examples, and I did want to show you, one thing to say, hey, things are available, and not show you it is actually available to you.
Exactly.
Less than 200,000.
I like that you went the extra mile on this, because a lot of times when I'm out and about in the community having conversations, a lot of people have been listening, and so many people tell them that it's not possible, that when we come along and say, hey, this is possible, they're looking at us like we are aliens with a whole bunch of different heads sitting on top of our face. And so I like that you took the extra step to show them that, yes, things are possible. I have people out here, they're looking to get, pre-approved to get in a home, and they're looking for pre-approvals around 300 to get a single family home. Where here you're showing options that are less than 300,000 that can get them one into their primary home, but also have an income producing unit available as well. Who wouldn't want to use that as another way to create wealth, therefore building your legacy for your next generation?
Yes, especially if you have grown kids, families, whatever may be happening, especially in the dorm market, there is always students coming. There's always professors, adjunct professors, there's grad students, there's so many people that may need this. And you don't have to worry about, man, I wonder if they're gonna pay, yada yada yada. It's something that you can use, and it's less risk than the other traditional way of doing business. So I do think this will be can into a home and get their investment property started. So that
Okay.
is why I mentioned it.
Okay,
And I
awesome.
think with all
So
the people.
Let me get people caught up. You done two great tips so far. The first one was the house hacking, where you gave the example of the young lady that had the 80 unit and she has an 8 bedroom house and she's basically renting out every room in there. Plus, when she's not staying in the ADU, she's renting that out as well. All right. That one is mind blowing off the top. Now, the second one you just told us is something that, for people that are looking to purchase their first home, it's a tough concept for them to wrap their heads around. However, you're talking about purchasing a duplex or a triplex, an income producing property, and making that your primary. You live in one unit and you rent out one or both of the other units that are available. That's going to provide income to you that will help you with that mortgage payment that you're going to need to make every month. These are two great ideas. What else do you have for us, Samantha?
ADU.
I saw the pictures.
Like that. But
No, because people think just because it's a smaller house that, it doesn't cost. Or when you say what the cost is, they look at you like you have a bunch of heads. Now, the thing that they have to realize is regardless of what size the house is, there's certain costs that you have to incur that are just going to be standard. So if you're looking to bring this ADU onto city water and sewer, of course, there's a cost for that. That's set by the county, city, state, however that works. So it's no way to get around that. Whenever you have to do your plans for your tiny home, you still have to make sure that the survey is correctly done. You still have to make sure that everything is properly graded, any trees removed. You have to make sure that you have the non-pervious, all of that stuff that needs to go into building a 10,000 square foot home. You still have to check off those boxes, even for a 400 square foot home, which we can say is an ADU, or accessory dwelling unit. So I just want to make sure that as Samantha goes on and she talks about this concept, that we understand that yes, it's an ADU, but yes, it's not cheap either. But it is cost effective when you're working with the right people. Okay, go ahead, Samantha.
the video was playing in the back while you were speaking, but AARP is a national program that are pushing for this so that our seniors can still live within our communities and be able to stay at home and stay in place and age and dignity. So although ARP is the one that's not digging this idea, but as we get older, kids, you may have that two-story house now, and it may be cool to go upstairs, and you got that garage, and your kids is like, "Well, mom, you wanted to take care of me, but you require too much energy. You want a lot, so they're gonna say we're gonna move you into the garage, okay? Have everything you need in the garage, and we'll live in the house or rent out the main house, and you can get in the garage." That's the thing is they're saying now people getting older, they need more income. They can still do a reverse mortgage. That's a whole other ball game for another time for older people. But that's something you can take into consideration as you're making plans for your family to age. Because we're all gonna get old, or maybe some of us won't. But the plan is for us all to get old at some point. So
Yeah,
I just want to clear that there are opportunities, there are programs. If you're interested in something like that, ARP has a whole line of information. They even tell you how to structure an ADU, what you're looking for. As people are aging, the door whips, wheelchair accessibility. It has a plethora of information available.
you are right. ARP has a plethora of information for my people that are in Durham. I'm talking to my Durham specific listeners, followers, friends. uh, Durham Community Land Trust, a building model that is thinking of the whole ADU, is thinking of aging in for seniors, is thinking of multi-generational living. They have a building model that they are currently working on, and I think it's going to be rolling out in 2027, where they're going to have a main house built and it's going to come with an ADU automatically. A great concept to think of when we're stepping into thinking about how we're going to and how we're going to be able to access, like Samantha just mentioned, when we're talking about making sure that it's ADA accessible. So these are some great things that we see.
How to get this done, and you already have a house. You're looking at a house. You're thinking about buying a house. It's 2,000 square feet, and you say, you know something, Kia, I like this. My mom just broke her leg in this equation. Hopefully, your mom doesn't. Um, how can I buy and get what I need for me, my mom, the kids? This is one of the answers. A renovation loan. This is the answer. Why? Because you can take it and you can do whatever it is that you need to do with it. We even get to that part. I did want to talk about this particular house or this particular unit right here. I did a little research, y'all. I don't know if you can see, but I did some research.
We can see.
It's so cute. But there's something that compels me to look a little deeper. $150,000.
It's a condo, right?
We got started. Condo, right? Keep going. That's not what compelled me to talk about this property a little bit more. It was the property history. Someone at some point invested $67,000 pre-COVID to buy this unit. Kia, we're in 2026, and they selling this same house for $150,000.
Yeah.
So let's just say, equal math. You bought it for 70. Let's say you paid closing costs. You put $80,000 all in. Let's just say paid the realtor, paid the work done. How much money has this person made already?
Well, if we're looking at what if they sell at that price, what is that? 70K based upon your 80K all in? Yeah. Yeah.
In 7 years.
In 7 years.
Where else can your money make money for you? Like, let's be honest. Let's be real here.
Not in my bank account. I don't earn interest like that.
No, not at all. Like, I took a moment and I was looking at houses under 200K, and I was like, it's sold. Somebody else bought it. Maybe a college student bought it for 159 back in 2022. So this person bought it in 2019. They are winning. They was up. They were up really quickly. They took less than 4 years to make the amount of money that they made. So again, this too can happen for you. And I would be through an FHA 203K loan, and they also have the Freddie Mac Choice Renovation Program. And the great thing about it is that you can add on a accessory dwelling unit. Ooh, that was the answer. You can convert it from a one structure to a two, a three, or a four. Don't you love it how I gave you where I can find the information? Yes, you can do all of that.
Make sure you are commenting, because she's showing us a lot of stuff on the internet. She's done the research for you. So comment list so you can get this list of these websites that she's currently showing us, so that you can go and find this information out for yourselves. Because at the crust of what we do here, we want to make sure that we give you the information so that you can be informed and make an educated decision based on the information that you have found. We gave you the source. We want you to go and examine it for yourself, because I can tell you all day, she can tell you all day, it's possible. Start moving that mouse around or moving that your finger on that phone, you won't believe it. You have to see it for yourselves. So we're giving you guys a blueprint to seeing these things happen.
Kia has already mentioned this, but she didn't know this was on my slide about military flexibility. You guys, say we're married, Kia was in this situation already. Kia, you can tell your military story if you got a second or two if you want to talk about it. And then I'll come back on the lending side to kind of explain that, as you said, y'all moved a time or two. a real life story where she moved a time or two.
Uh,
And I don't know if y'all invested every time you moved, but I'm pretty sure after that divorce, you probably was like, man, we should have bought all 8 of those houses. But go
uh,
ahead, tell your story.
well, what I will say is I went from my hometown in New Jersey. Our first duty assignment was actually in South Carolina, and it was up in the air where we were going to next. We had a lot of challenges on the horizon at that time. Ultimately, we rented, but we went to Alaska after that. And oh my gosh, I'm thinking to myself, if I would have purchased a home at that time, we spent like 3 years there. If we would have purchased a home instead of doing what a good portion of families do, they just stay in on post housing. Okay. Um, if we had chosen then, I looked at some of the home values. Then we talking 1993, 94, 95. So a long time ago, that child that was born there is grown and doing his own thing, right? Versus now, the equity, like you said, the equity. Even if we didn't live in it, even if we sold it, there were opportunities that were missed. And I'm still at this point in my life, I still want to have I call it a summer house out there in Fairbanks. So I'm still on the lookout to make my purchase of a home out there.
Okay, well, yeah. So I did want to also mention this. Like, suppose your spouse is deployed and you wanted to buy while he's away, or she's away, whichever way is away. You can still do that. They don't have to be here for you to buy. But
Exactly.
if they're married and they plan on their spouse and their children living there, y'all can still buy. Don't be like, oh man, he's away. We don't know what's gonna happen. Okay, he's away, but I'm a spouse and we got children. The children can live there. That qualifies as an occupancy.
Hmm.
The wife can live there, and that's occupancy. So yes, he's whatever. He's not living on in the Navy ship in Ashkawana, wherever that might be.
I
Um,
can't.
but I just say that to say, like, when we think, don't let us our own thinking be like, man, well he's away. I wonder if we can buy. This is happening. I wonder if we can buy. We're gonna get. We don't know where we're gonna live next. I wonder if we can buy. You should probably always buy. And the VA has the best loans there is. They don't have a minimum credit score. You can have a 200 credit score and still buy, which I don't know how you get to 200. But life sometimes, you know, and your spouse can qualify. You don't need a down payment, which when you got a spouse buying, you need a down payment when you got a stranger buying. But that's besides the point. But you can even buy a duplex, multifamily house with a military loan. Like, don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. If you put your mind to it, you can achieve it.
You got that right, young lady.
Okay,
What
so
else you got for us?
she's rushing me off that. Okay, so everyone can qualify, but not always alone. And we really have to think about the structure as we talked about having these family members live with you, not family members live with you, strangers living with you, your parents, you bought a house for your kids. All that just requires a conversation. It's the structure. And again, with the structuring, the right partnership will understand you because you don't always know exactly what to say, what to ask. And then we're here to drive those questions so that you can get what you need. Because some people say, don't ever co sign for your kids. Okay, that can work, that cannot work. But co signing, in some cases, co signing means that I'm going to be on the hook for a year and they make sure they make that payment. And after that year, I can go on with my life and I can buy what I want to buy. Because that's one of the number one things that I see is like, if I buy a home with someone, can I also buy a home later? And the answer is yes. I've been there myself. My sister was like, "Can you co-sign for me?" And I was like, "But I want to buy a house soon." This is before I got licensed. And I was like, "Well, I don't want that to be the reason why I can't buy because I can't carry both debts." And realized I could have carried the debt. And 1 year later, I could have went and got 100% financing from the state employees or something, and went on with my business. And she would have had a house by now. We would have got all this equity out the house, and we could have bought multiple investment properties. But conversations, guidance, and then we can say, okay, this makes sense. This is how you navigate the next chapter. So we're not thinking about just today, y'all. We're thinking, yes, we want you to be a homeowner today. We want the money today. Yes, we do. But we are also people. I'm a woman. I got a kid. Kia got generations of people before and after her that she has to worry with, and she wants you
I'm gonna
to
get
have a
you.
little bit more knowledge than what she had and her mom had.
I'm gonna get you. I love how you get to me and you say generations. You know what? I'm not offended. It's okay though.
You have
It's
grandchildren.
whatever.
Understand?
Whatever. Whatever.
Generations. But I say that to say, like, we're talking ADU, we're talking about how to keep your house, how to get a house that accommodates you, your mom, and everybody that don't drive you crazy. Like, we're here to help structure that for you so that you don't go out and spend extra money for, nursing homes and all these things. Not to say nothing against nursing homes, they're good real estate. But, like, if you don't have the money, here we are. And then we talked about buying a primary for your kids or your family. Like, there are certain types of loan qualifications and understandings. If, let's say, your mom is on Social Security for whatever reason and she can't afford it, and her credit stinks, and she doesn't have that much money, and whatever happened because she don't have a lot of money, so her credit stinks possibly. You can go ahead and buy your mom a primary without it being an investment property. It's a thing. Again, it requires conversation and due diligence, and you don't have to live there. Unlike the co-signing part, you have two ways. You can non-occupying co-borrower, just a regular co-signer. So it's just a matter of understanding and moving forward with a plan. And that's what we're here today to talk about is this plan. So that's what I got for us today. Like everything can happen in your season with what you need, and not just for today, but tomorrow. And we're here to help you structure what that looks like. And I'm off my soapbox for today.
Awesome. So again, let me thank Miss Samantha, who today has taken us through different options when it comes to building generational wealth. The first idea and concept that we spoke about was house hacking, where she gave you the example of the 26, 27 year old young lady
Mm-hmm.
that basically rents out of her whole house and she lives in an ADU. And when she's not in the ADU, she rents that out as well. So that's a great hack. She also talked about the opportunity to buy a multifamily as your first option for a primary home, whether it's a duplex or a triplex or fourplex, which would be really nice. You live in one unit, you rent out the rest. She also talked about the concept of where you have an existing home and some land. You can also do an accessory dwelling unit, which is we call it ADU. Definitely an option. I just want to make sure that people understand. Just look at, get you some bids because this can cost, even if, because I'm going to see people that say, I purchased the one that they saw on Amazon, Lowe's.com and HomeDepot.com. That's fine. You can purchase it. But I got a question. Am I going to be able to go to the bathroom and take a shower? If the answer is no, that means there's still some more things that need to be paid for, even though you purchased the ADU unit. Okay. The next concept that she spoke about was being in the military, being able to PCS from duty location to duty location. And it's also a great opportunity to take to purchase a home. And then as you move to your next destination, it can be an investment for you as you purchase another one, or you have an asset now that you can sell. And she showed, one example of how basically in 7 years, this guy is going to net 70K on a home that he bought for 70K and is now being listed for 150. Okay, so these are all great things. The last thing that she shared with us, and it sort of is like a blowback to the beginning, because we were talking about co-signing, and I mentioned the fact that we're in a state that has a lot of colleges and universities. Durham is, the city of medicine. What was that? A few days ago, we just had the Duke versus Tar Heels game on, and people were going out their mind. It was a thriller, and I'm not going to say who won. If because I'm not going to say I like either team. I'm just going to remain neutral while I'm on this platform. However, when your kid comes here, it's a great opportunity to be able to get them on the path to creating wealth for themselves by, instead of paying, because you're going to pay for the campus housing, why not purchase a home that you could put two roommates in, because you're going to get a three-bedroom, two bath at least, right? Put two roommates in there that are also college students, right? And they're going to be paying rent that's going to pay that mortgage, right? So there's another concept. So we want to thank Samantha for coming on today and giving us all of those nuggets. Samantha, final words before we sign off, because we have taken it long. I want to thank my followers and friends and whoever is out there in La La Land that is listening today, because we had some technical issues. But hey, we here. We showed up.
We did. I just want to say we're here to help you structure whatever ideas you have. You know, we want you to work with us, but we do want you to be informed. Is number one is be informed. We have the information, the insight, and resources for you, and we don't mind sharing it. We do hope that you decide to use us, not just use our knowledge because we have to pay for this. So time is money, energy is money, all of things um, is currency. So if you want to use us, we are definitely here. You can always give me a call at 919-374-0260 or find me at standaloneofficer.com.
And again, if you need any of the information that she spoke of during this live we're talking about today, comment underneath the video, send us a DM, or reach out to us directly, and we'll definitely be sending that information out to you. Again, guys, my name is Kia. I am a realtor with EXP Realty, and I want to thank you all for joining us today on our live for Legacy Building Wednesdays. Stay tuned, guys. We'll see you again at 12 next week. Thank you, and we're off.
Are we officially off?